So today we're going to be breaking down lane snapper, and we're starting right now. So lane snapper, also known as Mexican snapper, is a very delicate white flesh fish that has a really nice sweet flavor to it. And the reason for this is because the lane snapper's diet consists of crab and shrimp, which influences its flavor. But you can treat this fish as you would any kind of snapper. And these fish don't get too big, only about a foot in length, so they're really great to practice on. Because the smaller the fish, the more precise you'll need to be when it comes to filleting. And of course, today, like any other day that we're filleting fish, we are using the Sangmai Oroshi technique. And in my opinion, this is definitely the best technique to use when filleting any kind of fish. So with all that said, let's begin. Alright, so here is our lane snapper. And we want to make sure that the eyes are healthy and bulging and not cloudy. The skin is tight to the flesh and not slimy. And that the gills are nice and red. Now I'm going to start off by removing the scales of the fish. And I'm going to run my knife along the fish towards the head. And you might want to do this in the sink with some running cold water because the scales tend to fly around. Now that we scaled the fish, we're going to next remove the head. Now what I want to do is angle my knife behind that pectoral fin, and I want to make my first incision. And then I'm going to turn the fish around and make that second incision. And with the heel of my knife, I can slice right through that neck bone. And there is our lane snapper's head. Next, I want to look for that small urinary pore, and I want to take the tip of my knife and slice right through that, exposing the belly of the fish. And sometimes there's going to be a membrane covering the bloodline, and we're going to slice right through that in order to reveal the bloodline. Now once the bloodline is exposed, I'm going to take some bamboo skewers tied in some elastic bands, and I'm going to place the lane snapper over a cold bowl of water, and I'm going to scrape that bloodline until it's cleaned. And as you can see, our bloodline is now cleaned. Next, I'm going to dry my fish, and this is really important because when you have a dry fish, you're going to make cleaner cuts. And you always want to make sure everything is dry, your board, your knife, and the fish. So now we can start filleting, and we're going to start with the right side fillet. And we're going to make our incision along the belly, parallel to the center bone. And here I'm using the palm of my hand to tilt the fish and expose the belly. So when doing this, just make sure to take your time and keep the tip of your knife always against that center bone so that you're not nicking any flesh. Next, I'm going to turn the fish around and I'm going to do the same thing but along the spine. And always make sure to keep that knife parallel to where that center bone is. And another great tip, of course, is to always keep your index finger along the spine of your knife for maximum control. Next, I'm going to make sure that the tail portion is disconnected from the center bone so I can place my knife in between and I can slice right through the backbone. And there is our right side fillet. Next, I'm going to turn the fish around, and as you can see, there's a lot of fish oil on my knife, and I'm going to clean that off so it doesn't obstruct my cuts. Now next, I'm going to do the same thing with the other side of the fish, but this time I'm going to start with the spine. Next, I'm going to turn it around and do the belly. And then once again, disconnect that tail portion and slice right through that backbone. And there is our left side fillet. And here is our center bone, and as you can see, you almost want it to be transparent. Now next, I'm going to remove the rib bones, and to make it easier, I'm going to first disconnect them from the flesh. So with my knife's edge turned upwards, I can begin making an incision along those ribs, disconnecting them from the flesh. Now next, I can place my knife underneath those rib bones and begin by removing them like so. And there are our rib bones, and you can use this in your fish stock. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the other fillet. Next, I'm going to remove the pin bones, and remember that these bones are only along where that backbone used to be. And a good tip is to always use your fingers to hold the flesh as you're removing the pin bones, and this will help keep the flesh from tearing off. And here is our lane snapper filleted. So we have the 2 fillets, the center bone, and the head. Alright, that is it, the delicate lane snapper, filleted and ready to cook. And if you haven't already, definitely subscribe, like, comment, and share this channel. Your friends and family who may also be food aficionados will perhaps appreciate that. And speaking of foodies and cooks, I'm soon going to be making an announcement on how you can become a member of this channel, which will offer exclusive perks designed to take your cooking to the next level. So definitely stay tuned for that, and until we meet again, keep on cooking.